perfect title to increase sales.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you for a couple minutes about titles for your book. Now, I get asked this question fairly often from people, and here's what I usually tell them. The title has to feel right. Now, I know you're saying, really, Bob? By the way, I'm Bob Graham, the CEO of SpearPoint Ink, and I help small business owners create lead generation books that help create authority, credibility, respect, leads, referrals, and even speaking opportunities. Plus, they get social media content galore, and they really understand their customer and how to go about marketing going forward. So let's talk about the title of a book because it seems to really stress people out. Now, I've written several books and I've helped a number of people with books. And I got to tell you, the best book title I've come up with so far is Writing with Power. Now, I have a system for writing that I call the Power System. It's a process, 5 steps. And each of those letters, P for positioning, O for outline, W for writing, E for editing, and R for releasing, those all signify something. So Writing with Power with that acronym, I love that title. I really do. Now, of course, it's my title. But when you think about title, what do I love about that title? First of all, for that book, it says what we're talking about. That book's all about how to use my process to write your book. It walks you through step by step. Second of all, it's short. It's super short. Writing with Power. You can say it, you don't have to remember it. You know, it's not like A Tale of Two Cities or the importance of eating protein after breakfast every single day of your life. Now, those are really descriptive, don't get me wrong, but they're really long, and we tend not to remember them. Think of the songs you like, and you usually have a really short title for it. You know, we just like things simple, and we like things clear. The other thing that title has to do is not be misleading. It's got to be accurate. If it's misleading, you've got a problem. No one wants to read a book that says you're talking about, 5 ways to improve your looks with makeup, and the second page they start reading about how to get Botox. That would be really off-putting to the reader. That would not help. So you want to make sure your title is reflective of what you're talking about. And I would tell you the other thing that I really like about a good title is it sounds like what people say. It sounds like their language. It doesn't sound like marketing speak. It doesn't sound like, it just feels right. And one of the ways I do that, one of the ways I test it is I tell my clients all the time that your title and anything you write, really every sentence, needs to pass the bar test. Now, you're probably wondering, what's the bar test? Well, I'll tell you. The bar test is really simply, if you went to a bar and sat next to someone and they were your ideal client or customer, and they started talking about the topic, would they say what you're describing? So, for instance, I got 2 emails the other day. One was all about, that was right before the July 4th holiday. One was all about time management strategies. Person was doing a workshop on time management strategies. Okay, that's great. Not really, okay, boring, very scientific, very blah. Another email came in a couple hours later and said, title of the email, the subject line was very simply, do you wish you could take off the holiday and not feel guilty? Whoa. That email I opened, that email I looked at, that would be a title of a book that I would read. How to be able to enjoy holidays without working. Because as it is right now, this is July 4th in the US, and I'm working. I've been working for the last couple hours. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, if I had all my ducks in a row, if I really had things zeroed in perfectly in my business, I wouldn't need to work on the holidays. And a book that would give me tips and tricks to do that, that said really simply, you can have off on the holiday, and here's how to do it. That's a book I'd read. I think that's probably a book that you would read if you're a small business owner, right? So it's really reflective of what you're trying to get across as the writer. And sometimes people are like, oh, I want something that's really cute. I want to play on words. I want some joke. I want to refer to a famous book or a famous song or famous movie. And I got to tell you, that rarely works. It really falls flat. It feels forced. It feels just not cool. And I will tell you this, when a title feels right for the author, and I've worked with about, a total probably 30, 40, 50 authors by now, actually working with them on their books, probably 20, 25. But the others I've talked to just as they're writing books, people I know, and there's a moment when they know what the title is. So if you're writing a book, don't feel like you have to have the title at the beginning. That's a misnomer. That just doesn't make sense. Often when you write, you find the title in your writing. I'm telling you, I've written things and it's like, even for a blog post, I'll be writing, kind of have a sense of what I'm going to write, have a sense of what the title is. And then at the last minute, some phrase that I'm reading when I'm editing it, or something that I say in my head, or something I wrote down, poof, the perfect title jumps out at me. Now you may be saying, okay, Bob, what's the title of this video right now? And I'll tell you right now, I really don't know. I didn't title it yet. I'm trying to figure it out as I go. I think there's going to be a phrase that I say or something that comes about in the next 24 hours. And that's what this video will be called on YouTube and elsewhere where you see it. But I don't start with the title. I think so many people want to start with the title. They think of creating a book or a video or any kind of communication as you start at the beginning. First thing someone sees is the title, and then they see the first sentence, second sentence, and you have to write it that way. I can tell you that's not realistic. I know authors, I've even done this myself. I had one book where I really struggled with the title. I mean, I struggled with it for probably 3-4 weeks before someone said something to me and they're like, what about this? I was like, boom, that's the perfect title. And if someone gives you a great suggestion for a title, don't be afraid to use it. Now, I know some people will tell you, oh, I didn't think of it myself, and the person's going to want control of it, and they're going to want some of the money if I make a lot of money from the book. Most people don't. Most people are really honored, really excited to be a contributor to your book. And so don't feel like it has to come from your head to be successful, because that's just not realistic. We can't see everything. I can't see everything. I've helped people write books from the start to the finish, every step in between. And there are times where someone's spouse, a friend, customer, someone will just say something and they'll come and be like, Bob, I think this is the title. I'll say, yeah, that's the title. Now, I've worked with that person for 3-4 months on that book, pretty intimately, and it didn't hit us. That's fairly normal. We as humans don't really think about titles. We think about categories, but not titles. And a good title, a couple other things that come to mind as I'm thinking through it. A good title has a good action word. So writing with power, a good verb, you're writing. It tells you right there. This is about writing. This isn't about reading. This isn't about podcasting. This isn't about, swimming or rowing. It's about writing. And then with power. Because what do my clients want when I'm working with them? They want to write more powerfully. They'll say to me, oh, wow, I love the way you write. You know how to say it. And someone said to me a couple of years ago, they said, you're such a powerful writer. And it struck me at that moment. It's like, oh, that's really a great phrase. I never thought about that. But that's what it was. So when I was trying to put together my process, power was a word that I really jumped at. It really spoke to my clients, to my customers. And I was like, okay, what do they want? They want to write with power. How do I do that? I've got this 5-step process. I managed to create the acronym. And from that led to the book that explains it. And from there, other things. Writing with power. So I'm not trying to promote myself here with the book. That's really not the goal. I'm just trying to give you some examples. And notice it's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. So if you can get a verb and then something that gets them to go, whoa, that's what I want, then you've got a good title. I also would tell you, you can workshop titles. You can take some suggestions to people and say, hey, people you trust, people you respect, and say, hey, here are 5 titles I'm thinking about for my book. Which one do you like best and why? Or why don't you like the other ones? Sometimes when people tell me why they don't want something, that's more valuable to me. It's like, oh, wow, if they don't want this, then I can change it to this and that'll work. So don't be afraid to do that. But a title is really precious. It's really important. And a lot of people just throw it or they overstress over it. What I would tell you is there's somewhere in the middle, and when you know the right title for your book, it just jumps out at you. You might hear someone say something, you might come up with something on your own, you might read something and you pull words out. It's really, it's organic. And I know there are people that are going to tell you use AI, and AI gives you some great suggestions for titles, but I haven't found that they're really that great. They're usually pretty generic. And I've also had people say, well, just take your first couple words of your first sentence. That doesn't work either. So just some ideas for you on writing a title. If you want help, if you're ever struggling and you want to talk about a title, I'd love to talk to you. I love to go through that process. I love to explain to people my perspective. I try to help them understand maybe more about their customer's perspective. If that's something you want to talk about, or if you want to talk about how to write a book as a lead generation tool for your business, for your success, to grow, to find new referrals, to find new business, I'd love to talk to you. It's as easy as scheduling an appointment at the link down below. I hope we can do that really soon. Maybe we'll come up with the perfect title really fast. Sound good? All right. And let me know what you think about the title of this one, okay? When I figure out what it's going to be. Bye-bye.
Please visit spearpointinc.com or timewithbob.com.